Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the mill. Once again, we're standing on top of a mess here. It's been several weeks since we pulled the mill out and cleaned up. If you've been watching our video series, you know we just finished up on our kiln build. So for the last 3 or 4 weeks, basically the only time we were sawing was when we had a customer order. We had to get it in, get it out, or something we needed sawed for ourselves, get it in, get it out. And we've kind of let the floor just build up. But we're done with the kiln building, and we got some sawing to do this morning, and I'm not going to stumble over this mess, so we're going to take an hour or so, pull the mill out, get the trash box over here, pick up all this bark and debris, get it up off the floor. What normally makes the big mess is either dead timber or white pine that's dried out a little bit. As soon as you put it up there, or poplar, it's just as bad. As soon as you put it up there and roll it, it just rolls a big old chunk of bark off on the ground, and it don't take long for that to collect and make a mess. If you're sawing all green timber, you really don't generate that much bark. It stays attached to the wood, to the flitch, and it goes out with your waste. But that being said, this is just part of the game. We're fortunate that we don't have to clean up every day. You know, the blower system gets rid of the sawdust. We'll take our little leaf blower and just blow everything from that side of the building. We'll just blow it over here under the mill into this pile. And, you know, every few weeks we'll just take a day and clean it up, make it go away. You know, this is part of owning the sawmill. Just the dirty side of sawmilling you got to clean up. Saturday, I didn't do anything in here. We had a ball game to go to, and had some customers coming by. I spent several hours outside, you know, doing the other part of the other dirty side of sawmilling. I spent several hours on a tractor, moving things around, moving log piles, cleaning the yard up, organizing. You know, I got a pile of logs sitting over here that I separated out that we're going to saw today. So Matthew don't have to do it while we're trying to get work done. You know, it's just comes with the territory. You know, not everything is turning the wood miser on and making boards. You know, there's a lot more to it than that, but we appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you tuning in, and hang in there. We'll get through this and get something a little more exciting. Okay, guys, as you just watched, I took the wood miser, raised the log turner up, then pulled the legs of that up, pulled all the legs of the mill up, and recovered my little square pieces of plywood for spacers. We currently have our mill sitting in a travel position. If you wanted to drive it down the highway, go mobile milling or whatever, this is what you got to do to it. The only 2 things I didn't do is there's a chain on the carriage that keeps the carriage from accidentally traveling, and there's a latch on the debarker. No need to do that for just pulling out here in the yard, but if we was going to go down the highway, we would secure those 2 things as well. So let's get the tractor fired up, move it out. Okay, guys, here we go again. We've already talked about this dirty mess, dirty side of sawmilling. I want to talk about our trash box over here. If you got a tractor, skid steer around your mill, you need one of these. It's a game changer. I forget whether we built it for...
We built it originally to be like a sawdust catch, about
Yeah.
8 foot tall.
Yeah, a year or so back, we were kind of dreaming about how to catch sawdust, and we built this. It's going to be about 8-10 foot tall, and hated it. And instead of throwing it away, took a chainsaw and just sawed it off about waist high. And we love it. Should have done it a long time ago. We're going to throw all our wood chips and bark and everything in there this morning and go dump it. Also got a pile of logs out here that we need 8'6", and they're all 9, 9.5, 10. So we're gonna have to trim at least one end on every one of them. And what I'll do is either I'll be on the tractor or Matthew will. We'll hang that log over the bucket. Poop, chop that end cut off, drop it right in there, and we don't have to manhandle that big old thing back up in the bucket, because if you got forks, you can't pick up a round end of a log. Now if you got a grapple, yeah, but you don't want to carry it from here to there, one piece at a time. We can probably put 20, 30, 40 in that bucket and make one trip. You know, all about saving time and working your old muscles less. So how about I quit working my mouth muscle and start working my arm muscles? Thanks, guys. Okay, there is one person happy about the mess. Lady, what are you doing? Have you ever seen a dog that has so many sticks to choose from? He's loving life. Okay, enough chat. Okay guys, as you can see, Matthew just got our mill shoved back in here. Floor's nice and clean-ish. We're gonna take our mill out of travel configuration, put it back into saw mode. We'll be ready to do some work today. Okay guys, let's go and do it. It's a dirty job, but you know, it's gotta be done. You run a sawmill, you're gonna make a mess. You're gonna make a bigger mess than you ever dreamed of. It takes a lot of property. If you're working on a small acreage, you'll do more cleanup. But that being said, you know, nothing wrong with cleanliness. I'd a whole lot rather walk around on this clean concrete than I had tripping over those piles of bark and mulch and sticks and everything else. But that should do it. If you got any questions on how to configure your mill to set it in travel mode, just drop a comment below. I'll try my best to answer them. We appreciate you watching our channel, Bearded Lumber. If you would, take the opportunity to like, subscribe, and share. We greatly appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back at the mill.